Hi everyone! Okay, so in this video, I'm basically going to show you how to make 4 pretty easy recipes. This is basically just like the baseline. This is like basically like my go-to meals, like when we basically have like chicken, rice, or pasta in the house, and I basically only need like maybe like 1 or 2 things at the store. If you guys want to see more, let me know. I do have some more complicated, with different ingredients and stuff like that. Anyway, let me know if you guys want to see more of those recipes, but I thought I would start with at least these 4. I hope you enjoy. Okay, guys, so most of these recipes, we're going to start with some rice. And I'm probably going to use this clip for like, 2 or maybe even all 3. I don't know. But this is me basically just making rice in an instant pot and putting some salt and a tiny, tiny bit of oil in it because, like, I don't know why, but my rice likes to stick to the bottom of it, so that's why I put a tiny bit of oil. I know it's not necessary, but I do it. You don't have to do it. Okay, so now I'm basically taking some canola oil and I'm going to cut up this onion into really, really small pieces because I don't know why, but for some reason I really, really enjoy cut up onion with a lot of stuff, honestly. Onion and garlic are basically bases of a lot of my dishes. I mean, I think a lot of Americans are like that, but be careful how much garlic and onion you use because if you use it in everything, you technically like down the line you could like build like intolerances towards them. I know it sounds weird, but it's actually pretty true. I had a coworker once that got tested for allergies, and the 2 things that came back positive were onion and garlic. And I said, "Well, do you use it in everything?" And she's like, "Yeah, I do." And I'm like, "Well, that makes sense." So now we're adding some sazon, and this is basically the base of our dish. So I think I add like 2 or 3 packets of this because I absolutely love it. It's so delicious. It's not spicy whatsoever. That's why I like to add a little bit of cayenne pepper because I do like a little bit of spice. I can't honestly handle any spice with my belly. That might be a separate video, but my belly is very, very sensitive. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of adobo because that really, really takes up this to like the next level. I love adobo and everything. I love sazon and everything. What I mean everything is like I could just have it on rice and I'm a happy lady. But today we're going to add some chicken. And I like to cut it up in really, really small pieces because lately I haven't really been into eating poultry. I don't know what is wrong with me lately, but I have really been into eating more like veggies and like more like I can make mashed potatoes almost every day. It's like really bad, but like I absolutely love veggies and just potatoes and just everything. So I just cut these up really, really small. I put them in when, the onions are pretty much like I want to say like halfway done cooking. Like you don't want to cook them too much, you know. You want them like kind of like al dente, and then you want to stick in your chicken once it gets pretty hot, and then the chicken can easily cook. And then I'm going to add a little bit more garlic powder right on top of my chicken. Oh, I'm actually adding adobo to this. This is adobo. Sorry, I'm adding adobo also and sazon. So whatever I added to my onions, I'm also adding to the chicken because when you do this, you're honestly taking all of the seasonings and making sure that it's not just like rubbing up against the onions and getting onto the chicken. I'm really doing a light dusting of all of the seasonings and making sure that each chicken gets coated nicely because when we add in our rice, it's really going to disperse. Okay, so here I am literally just taking the pot of rice and putting it all in there because the oils, the onions, the chicken, everything. You want everything to get absorbed into this rice. And this is when your rice is basically going to turn orange and it's going to be absolutely delicious. It's so good. Do you want to smell it? It's not spicy at all.
Um, how many minutes is this gonna take me cooking?
Not even 1 minute. Not It's so good. This is really my favorite. Okay, you guys, this one is super easy too. You're basically gonna start with a little bit of oil, and you're gonna coat the pan, and at the same time, you're probably gonna make some rice. I'm not going to include the clip because you guys have already seen me make rice, so it's really not that big of a deal. But you're going to take a jar of cheesy enchilada dip from Tostitos, and you're going to take half of the jar. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Ellie, I'm going to take the whole jar. Don't take the whole jar. Trust me. Unless you're literally feeding like 10 people, don't do it. Trust me. You don't need it all. And then you're going to mix it around, and it's going to look weird at first. It's going to look really weird and really disgusting, and it's going to look like, you know, other contents. But I promise you, it comes out and it works out. So you're going to mix it really well. And then you're going to add as much oil as you need in order to make it just a little bit watery, if you will. I wouldn't add so much. I would say like probably like less than a fourth of a cup of oil. Now you're going to take some water and you're going to mix in the water. So in order to keep this from being too oily and from it to, you know, getting too thick while you cook it, we need to add some water to it because this is already like done cheesy dip. This doesn't need to be cooked anymore. It just needs to be heated up. So the fact that we're using it to cook chicken, we need to add a little bit of water. I would keep it on standby like I do, the oil and the water, just in case you need it later on. Okay, now you can see me just getting rid of the small pieces of fat on the chicken, which now I am a pro at because like it took me years to figure out, you know, the tiny little slice of fat that's in the chicken and then, you know how to cut around it without actually, you know, incorporating it in your eating chicken. Very hard to do. If you are a slow slicer, I would say wait to do this step until all of your chicken is in there. But because I'm basically almost done, and now I'm basically jinxing myself because now I'm not. I had paused my TV so I could do this for you guys, and I think it was like a movie I was watching, and I swear I literally was like, what is playing right now? Okay, so now we're gonna make sure all of the chicken is coated, and make sure that you are wiping the sides because they will get dry and they will get crusty. You want all that sauce, trust me. You want to save all that sauce if you can. Save the sauce, save the sauce. Okay, so for this recipe, you want to make sure you put the lid on because it will cook the chicken faster and it will prevent the sauce from thickening too fast. Yeah, so make sure you do that. Now that they're all pretty much coated, well, it looks like I'm making chicken tikka masala. It definitely does not smell like chicken tikka masala. It smells like taco. It smells like enchiladas in here. It smells like absolute delicious enchilada chicken. I'm gonna wait for that to cook, and then we're just gonna add rice to it, and it is all done. Okay, so since I didn't incorporate it in my last clip, here it is again of me making instant rice. Just literally putting in 2 cups, putting in a tiny little bit of salt and a little bit of oil, and then putting it, you know, to cook while my chicken cooks. So they're done at the same time. Okay, so here comes the hard part. The ingredients. You're going to need onions, soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, green pepper. You can make it as large as you want. My boyfriend likes them small. And a little bit of oil. You will also need paprika, garlic powder, cayenne pepper if you want it to be spicy, and a little bit of salt and garlic. So we're going to start with the oil. And I have already cut up my pepper. I'm sorry, I didn't show that. And now I'm just adding in my onions. Also, I'm very sorry. I thought like the camera was on me, but it was just on the pan. Okay, so right after you cut those up and put them in the pan, you can almost immediately start putting in your sauce. So I would probably say start with like 1/4 of a cup of both. I eyeball it. So as long as you put an even amount of both, you should be fine. I usually end up adding more later, so don't be scared about, you know, maybe even adding like a little bit more than 1/4 of each. That's fine. Then I go in with my salt. And then as they're cooking, I will cut up my chicken and then add that almost right after I'm done cutting it up, because we don't want the vegetables to get too, well, al dente. No, that's not the word. We don't want them to get too, no, not firm. What is the word I'm looking for? Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Now I'm basically going to add a plethora, like so much paprika to all of the chicken. And then after you're done adding so much paprika to all of the chicken, we're going to turn them over and add even more paprika to the chicken. Okay, so after each piece of chicken is coated with paprika, we're going to make sure that we coat it with some garlic powder. And we're going to make sure that we coat it with, I like to put a little bit, not coated, but I like to put a little bit of cayenne pepper in it. This needs a little bit more than just a little bit of cayenne pepper if you want it to be spicy, because it does basically like suck it up. Okay, I'm crazy. Here I am adding more paprika because they are not dark enough for me. You do not have to add this much paprika, I promise. I just like to add them. So this is me adding more sauce. I do like to top it off with some sauce at the end because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it just needs more sauce. It needs to be more saucy. It needs something to cook in and, needs something to like marinate in. Put the top on, let it cook. And then I like to add it on top of a bed of rice. Off the top of a bed of rice? I'm sorry. I don't know how to voice these, as you can probably tell. Okay, seriously, this one you want to proceed with caution, because this one can be ultimately a little too sour if you don't like lemons and if you don't add chicken to it. And I, my friends, am not adding any chicken to it. So far, I'm just adding some oil and some garlic, and I am slowly roasting it.
Also mention that garlic is really good for your fingernails so that when you're cutting up cloves.
So in a nutshell, it's basically saying that the top here, you can basically pinch it with your nails, and then therefore, like after you peel it, you should pinch the top with your nail all the way around, and then the top just comes off, and your nails get stronger, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now I'm cutting up some lemons that are going to go directly into my pan, just making sure they don't have any seeds inside of them. I cut up like, I think between 4 and 6. I don't know, I think the rind really like adds more lemon to it. And if you add them in whole like that, later on the juices are like released and it helps it from, coagulating or getting too thick. So here I am basically just squeezing and taking out the lemon flesh. You really don't have to do this.
If you like it lemony. If you don't like it too lemony, I would stop here.
But am I stopping there? Absolutely not. I think I'm basically doing this with 3 whole lemons. I used to do it with 6 lemons. When you add chicken to it, it definitely gets more absorbed more, but yeah. Okay, so now we're adding a little bit of oil and a tiny bit of cheese because you don't want it to get too thick.
You don't want to add too much Parmesan. You want it to be just enough. If you add too much Parmesan, it's going to be like this big gooey mess, and you don't want it to be big and gooey mess. You want it to be like a little additive extra, and that's it.
Okay, so now I'm going to add some black pepper, and we're going to add some Italian seasonings to it. And you're basically just going to eyeball it, not too much. And now I'm adding more lemon. Oh my good, I have a problem. I have a very bad lemon problem. I have been eating like whole lemons since I was a child. Granted, I don't eat whole lemons now that I'm a 36-year-old woman, but this lemon pasta, absolutely.
Okay, so I just have some pasta water. I'm going to bring that to a boil. All right. While this is still cooking, I would say, like, just let all of the flavors homogenize and just like relax and boil, but not too much. Maybe like a steady boil. If it starts to boil too heavily, you can bring it back down to a 2. That's what I would say. And if you have chicken in it, I would say you do want it to boil until the chicken is well cooked. But because we're not really cooking chicken, and because we're waiting for the pasta to be done, we can kind of wait around a little bit and see how that Parmesan is just slowly being incorporated in this sauce. Can't really see it. You can see it, but it's slowly going to be minute. Also, something I forgot to mention is that if you add chicken to this dish, it actually, like, the chicken gets a very, very nice, like, lemony taste to it, and it does bring down the lemon, like, significantly, I would say. It definitely is still lemony and very, very tart, but, like, not as much with the chicken because it gets absorbed, so just know that. Add sharp cheddar as well, but I added a little bit of sharp cheddar, like a tiny bit here. Let's add a tiny bit. I said you can't add too much cheese, but it looks fine right now. It looks like that it's not being overpowered by cheese, so I'm going to add a tiny bit more cheese. But when I mean a tiny bit more, I mean like literally that's it. You don't need a lot of cheese in this dish. It's not a cheese heavy dish. It's lemon and garlic, and the cheese is just a little additive. It just adds a little bit more body because this is. So about a week after I made this video, I realized that I didn't have a cheese that I sometimes use in this dish, and I used it shortly after, and it was delicious. And I was able to add more cheese when my pasta was done, but that cheese is this. You can add this cheese to it. So if you guys are wondering what other cheeses you can add, I would say, like, do a dusting of this on your pasta after everything is done. Not too much though. I tried to add a lot of it to see if it would overpower it, and it didn't. It actually made it a little too cheesy for me, which I can't believe I'm saying that. I love cheese. So anyway, carry on. I know people are gonna get ideas because I have gotten so many ideas while making this. Whatever you do, do not add butter to this dish. It will completely ruin it. If you think about it, if you're a chef, you know this, but like if you think about it, butter and lemon, you never hear butter lemon. You never hear those two together, and there's a reason why. Because when you do butter and lemon together, honestly, it's absolutely disgusting. I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's something about the fat of the butter and then the citrus. It just does not mix. But see how this is kind of mixing? Oh, yeah. And then once it's in the pasta, oh my god, don't even get me started. This is the greatest dish. And I like to use just regular spaghetti for this because I feel like it's complementary to the sauce, because the sauce is very, very light. Very, very light. And super sour. Usually it's super, super sour. I guess one way you can sweeten it up is you could add some onion to it. Onion is a very sweet thing. You could add some like onion flakes to it if you really wanted to. Please don't make fun of my countertop. I have been cooking a lot. I'm gonna turn this off because this is all coming to a boil. And now it's perfect. Now it's at a consistency where it's perfect. It's still watery, but it has a little bit of viscosity to it. Because this is us adding pasta water. Well, then let it drip off a little bit. Let's let it drip off like halfway. And then just stick it in there because you need some more moisture after it's been cooking for a little while. Mine's got a little solidified because it's been in the pot waiting for my pasta to be done. Sometimes that happens. I like to get all the pasta because I am a pasta fiend. I am absolutely insane about pasta. Now we're just going to stir it together, and it's going to look extremely plain. It's going to look like butter noodles, but it's not going to taste like butter noodles. It's going to taste like delicious lemon, herb, and garlic pasta. So good. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. This is literally my favorite dish. I'm not kidding. This is my favorite thing to eat. When I said that when I was 5 years old and I was insane about eating like lemons, I'm not even kidding you. This pasta proves it. I don't even like things like left over, but I will have this pasta willingly left over. It's so delicious. Okay. Don't hold the pan and tongs and try to position the camera at the same time. It won't work. Okay, now I'm going to take some of this garlic and I'm going to put it in with some of my leftovers because right now my entire thing has garlic in it, and as much as I love garlic, I want some of my leftovers too. I'm gonna take these out because these are purely for cooking purposes. Could use them for garnish, but I don't recommend eating them because they're not that good. Here we go. No, garlic, you sir. Where's the fourth one? Here it is. And I pour myself some wine because it is Christmas Eve and I am hungry and I haven't had wine in weeks. And I want a glass of wine. Ooh. Oh, so tart. I love it. Oh, wow, yeah, this is really tart. I have to say that at the beginning of the recipe. You might want to use less lemons because I love it to be lemony. But you can taste the pepper and the other herbs in it, but it's definitely lemon heavy. I love it. I got a little garlic in this bite. See how it is with wine. Not bad, but I also have water in between because lemon and wine, I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed. That's the video. If you guys want to see more recipes, I might do my main recipe that I make all the time, which is basically chicken parm from scratch. I make Italian sauce, and I make probably the best fried chicken you will ever make yourself in the world. I'm not even kidding you. I'm not even just saying that. And no, it's not all breading. No, it's not all breading. So if you guys want to see that, let me know. I also make meatballs, which I'm not really famous for my meatballs, but I'm definitely famous for like my Italian red sauce and fried chicken. So we could do that in another one if you guys want to see it. So let me know. But cheers, happy holidays, and be safe. And thank you for watching. Bye.